welcome to Buy Now, Sell Now, the weekend edition. I'm Mubina Kapasi.
Hi everyone, I'm Avan Nabash and we've got lots lined up today. On the show, we will be addressing all your queries. So first up, here's what's lined up by way of individual stocks. Snowman Logistics, Philips Carbon Black and Omkar Specialty Chemicals. We'll be discussing the outlook on the show.
And in our portfolio segment, we'll also be discussing Naveen's portfolio on the show.
Time to get on board our experts. A.K. Prabhakar, Head Research, IDBI Capital Market Services, is with us to track fundamentals, while Amar Singh, Head Advisory at Angel Broking, joins in to chat about the technicals. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining in on the show. First up, let's take it straight to our caller, Arun, who joins in from Hyderabad. 3 stock queries is what he has. So let's connect with him first up to talk about Snowman Logistics. Arun, hi there. Thanks for joining in on the show. Tell us how we can help you with Snowman Logistics. What's your query?
Hi, I'm Arun from Hyderabad. I'm currently holding 150 shares of Snowman Logistics at a price of 87. I would like to know short-term and long-term view for this stock.
Okay, wants to know if he should stay invested or exit. It's clearly a fairly short-term time horizon as of now. Let's just walk you through the kind of quarter that Snowman Logistics has had. Recent listing, but this time around it's not an impressive quarter. Income from operations dragged lower by about 16%. Even when it came to the bottom line number, it wasn't encouraging at all. Disappointed by about 67%. Margins was the only redeeming factor, which came in higher at about 29.7 versus 20.7%. Mr. Prabhakar, let's understand what exactly would be the long and short-term views according to you.
See, logistic companies have run up too much based on the GST hopes, and GST, it can become a reality. But all these logistics stocks are quoting at a very high premium. They are very expensive at these levels, and if the growth doesn't catch up with them, I think it is going to be very expensive proportion. And GST, it can be a reality, but let the growth catch up. I will not advise someone to add on here or even to hold on, because I think logistics have had a dream run now, and the valuation at these levels are not justifiable. It will take at least 2-3 years for the valuation to catch up. That is the view I have. So it is a clear reduce from my side.
Okay, a reduced call coming in from Mr. Prabhakar. Not very convincing fundamentals for Snowman Logistics. But Amar, what is your call? How does it look on the charts? Because this is one stock that has been quite range bound, moving between that 60 rupees to at the most 80 rupees. What would you advise him to do?
Overall, if you look at Snowman Logistics, what we are seeing is today also there was some selling pressure in the stock. It's unable to hold above or trade above 73 levels technically, and so since that level is a very crucial resistance level for Snowman, so if it holds above 73 levels, then we could see some expectations towards 85 levels or so. But I would suggest that he should definitely have a stop loss at 67.50, 67.50, because that was a key level of support, and if we were to see a broad-based selling across, then we could see the stock correcting. So this stop loss definitely should be there, 67.50.
Okay, that's the view coming in on the fundamentals as well as on the technicals. I hope we got that query for you answered. But Arun, another mid-cap in your portfolio, and that's Philips Carbon. Do tell us what your query is.
And one more stock, Philips Carbon Black. I'm holding 50 shares at the price of 250. I would like to know short-term and long-term view for this stock.
Okay, let's help him out with this investment and just yet again tell you a little bit about the kind of quarter that it delivered. The top line growth for Philips Carbon came in muted. It was off by about 10% at 477.8 crores versus about 532 crore rupees. Operationally though, they did manage to post an EBITDA of 53 crores, up higher by about 23%. Margins also were delivered on the higher side at 11.1% versus 8.1%, and what a stellar PAT performance, up by about 300%. Let's understand your view then, Mr. Prabhakar, as to what exactly should be Arun's outlook now. Do you think that he should stay invested in this stock, or are the positives in the price?
See, it is a low margin business compared to there are business where EBITDA margins are 20% and 30%. It is 11% EBITDA margin business. So here, it has turnaround. It was a loss-making company 2 years back, and it is turning around. So if you are patient investor, then you can hold on. But if you have a very short-term view, then Philips Carbon is not your kind of stock. But for me, for a long-term investor, I have a hold on this stock.
Okay, a whole call coming in on Philips Carbon from Mr. Prabhakar, but on the technicals, Amar, how does this stock look? This week, of course, didn't bode very well for the stock, was down 2%, but with a 1 month to 2 month time horizon, that's what our viewer has. What would you advise him to do?
Overall, what we are seeing in Philips Carbon is some profit booking coming, because if you look at the last 6 months or so, the stock has trebled its and touched a high, currently trading around 250 or so levels. And on the upside, it is meeting with stiff resistance, or I would say profit booking, because from almost 80 to 100 levels, it's run up to almost 300, 285, 290 levels. So that's a major level of resistance for this stock, and that's a multi-year level of resistance, 285 to 290. So he should definitely hold on to this stock with a stop loss of 238. He can hold on to his position, and only if it starts consistently trading above 275 levels or so, then we could see some rally, but major rally only above 285, 290 levels from a long-term perspective.
All right, a consensus hold call coming in on Philips Carbon. But Arun, what's your last query? I believe it's on Omkar Specialty Chemicals.
I'm currently holding Omkar Specialty Chemicals 200 shares at the price of 166. I would like to know short-term and long-term view for this stock.
Okay, that's his query on Omkar Specialty Chemicals. 200 shares bought at about a price of 166 rupees. Let's tell you a bit about the company then and what's making news for this one. Well, recently it won a patent for development of new molecules, and it has a total of 3 patents post the new win. It expects 2 more process patents in the next 6 to 9 months. Now, the business outlook does show strong growth visibility on the back of these new patents that have been won by the company. Let's go across first to Mr. Prabhakar. Then, what would you advise him on the fundamentals of the company?
Yeah, the product pipeline is very good. They have few niche products also. I think it is a good hold also. If you want at lower levels, you can accumulate more also. So I'm very positive on Omkar Specialty Chemicals.
Okay, looking upbeat on the fundamental side, it's a hold recommendation. That's the advice coming in. Let's also understand how this stock is faring. Specialty chemical stocks, it's at one point, Amar, was really the buzzword in the markets, a place to really put your money into. Given the fact that he has been holding, he's looking for a fairly short-term time horizon as of now, what are the charts indicating? Any possible levels that you're mapping out very closely?
Yeah, it's currently around 168, 169 levels. So there is the overall trend definitely is strong for this stock, but a major level of resistance where we would see selling pressure coming in is around 176 levels or so. So if once that level is taken out, then the stock could rally towards 195 levels on the upside. However, he should have a stop loss of 149 to protect his investments.
Okay, that's a view coming in on Omkar Specialty Chemicals. There is a whole call coming in from both of our experts. Let's slip into a short break. On the other side, in our portfolio segment, we'll be discussing Naveen's portfolio, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. This is Buy Now, Sell Now Weekend.
Let's get on with our portfolio segment then and see whose portfolio we'll be discussing this weekend. Now we have Naveen Solarka with us. His location is Nagpur and he's aged 64 years old and he is a businessman. He has a time horizon of about 2 to 3 years. Let's get in the stocks that he has in his portfolio. First up, it's Ashok Leyland, which he's bought in at a price of about 95 rupees. That's 200 shares. Another motor company, Tata Motors, he's bought in at a price of 429 rupees, 50 shares over there. ICICI Bank, 150 shares purchased at a price of 304 rupees. Moving on then, we have Union Bank, which has purchased at 110 rupees. DHFL, another finance company, bought in at a price of 210 rupees. And lastly, TCS at 2,483 rupees, 50 shares is what he has purchased. Another company in the large cap IT space, Infosys, bought at 858.5 rupees. HCL Tech, 813 rupees. Glenmark bought about 90 shares at 838.9 rupees. And Sun Pharma at 916.75 bought 115 shares. And lastly, Lupin in the pharma space, 35 shares bought at 1,150 rupees. And SML Isuzu, 30 shares bought at a price of 1,320 rupees. That's of course his portfolio for you. But let's get in our market expert's view on the first three stocks in his portfolio. First up, it's Ashok Leyland, which he's bought at a price of 95, Tata Motors at 429 and ICICI Bank at 304 rupees. At this point of time, all of these stocks are currently a pain point for him. Mr. Prabhakar, what would you advise him to do on these three stocks?
See, I'm not happy with Ashok Leyland. Ashok Leyland, the top line growth is slowly coming down and the margins are also not satisfactory. No, because huge discounting is going on in that segment. So I will advise him to exit Ashok Leyland and buy Castrol. Castrol, we have a target of 580 rupees. And if you notice, Castrol has been one of the stock with high ROEs, very good margins. So I think go for companies where organic and inorganic growth is also there. So I think Castrol is a better pick than Ashok Leyland. So shift to Ashok Leyland. In Tata Motors, business segment is doing very good. So hold on to Tata Motors. Our target is 675. So there I have a hold for you. Now the other stock which we have to give the view is ICICI Bank, where I think it has run up too much. So take your profits there if you have. Otherwise, I recommend a shift to LIC Housing Finance. Housing finance companies are likely to do very good, and many housing finance companies have gone away from metro to the second line and third line cities, and now smart city is one more thing which is going to boost housing finance. So LIC Housing is our top pick. 700 is our target. So I would suggest you to shift to LIC Housing.
Okay, some chops and changes being made in the portfolio. That's the view on the first three stocks. Let's move right ahead and get in opinions then on Union Bank. How do you see this one stacked up versus some of its peers? DHFL, you're pretty bullish on this space. Is this a good stock to have? And TCS has been through such a rough ride. What's the call at 2483?
After a very long time, we are seeing PSU banks starting to perform. So I think PSU banks is likely to do very good. Top 5 banks of PSUs are the ones one has to concentrate on. In Union Bank, we have a target of 165. It is a hold from me. Diwan Housing, again housing finance, I said we are very gungo about it. We are very bullish. Diwan Housing target 320. Please hold on to the stock. The next target stock is TCS. See, IT is going through a very rough patch. Now at this point of time, we will not advise to exit IT. Now we have US election, 8th November is the election, so the rough patch is likely to continue for not to another 2-3 months, maybe maybe even 6 months. But after which things are going to turn around. So this is the time you have to buy more in IT. TCS is one of our top pick. The target is 2661. So hold on to TCS. Now IT is going to underperform for 2 to 3 months or maximum 6 months, but you have a time horizon of 2 to 3 years. So I think for you it is right to accumulate at lower levels also.
Okay, that's of course the view coming in on those three stocks. It's a buy coming in on the TCS, Union Bank, DHFL and TCS. So you can hold on to these three stocks and you can buy more in fact for TCS. But let's get in a check on the next three stocks in his portfolio. It's another large cap IT company, Infosys and HCL Tech, both of which he's purchased. There's also Glenmark Pharma, which he has purchased at a price of 838 rupees. Infosys, actually he's making some good money over there. He's entered in at the right price point of around 858 rupees. HCL Tech and Glenmark, however, are more or less of a pain point for him. Glenmark Glenmark, he's making some marginal money. So, Mr. Prabhakar, what would you advise him?
Yeah, again, no, it is large cap IT stocks where no, I maintain my bullish stance for a long term investor. Short term, yes, there will be a pressure point. Infosys, we have a target of 1377. Now, all the bad news is out, so I don't think more bad news is going to surprise us on a negative side. So one can start accumulating again Infosys if you want to add more. Even HCL Tech, we have a target of 967. We are positive on HCL Tech. Again, pharma is one more sector which has not performed for the last 6 months. I can say even for the last 1 year, the performance in IT and pharma has been very bad. Pharma, at least there have been selective outperformance, whereas in IT the performance has been very bad. So in pharma, Glenmark, we expect the stock to target 967. So hold on to Glenmark Pharma.
Okay, that's the view coming in on the IT and pharma stocks. There's some more pharma, by the way, Mr. Prabhakar. Sun Pharma at 916, and Lupin is also the stock that he holds. Finally, SML Isuzu. Let's get in your call on these three names. What should Naveen do?
I think no, Sun Pharma reaching his target itself is likely going to be difficult. We have a target of 900. So no, if he gets back his price, no, he can reduce it. But no, it is a hold from our end at this point. No, it is no use selling in panic. No, Sun Pharma is a very large company, and things will turn around positively. Same way, Lupin also we are very positive. 1680 is our target. Hold on to the stock. But SML Isuzu, we don't track the stock. So instead of that, I will recommend to get into Power Grid. Now, Power Grid has been very high margin business. 30% is the net profit margin. Now, so they have a very high margin, and if you see, almost 98% of the total power transmitted in our country is with Power Grid. So it is a niche company where competitors cannot increase the market share. So I think get into Power Grid. We have a target of 250.
Okay, there you have it. That's the perspective coming in on the entire portfolio. Mr. Prabhakar was a little concerned about the IT as well as the pharma holdings. He's advised some chops and changes that you need to make, and I hope, Naveen, that you've taken note of all of the advice. Just a quick disclaimer from our end. Please do remember that this is only a model portfolio. You should consult your individual investment advisor if you're taking any investment decisions. Quick break right here on the show. Stay with us. Our technical and fundamental guests join in for some top trades when we come back.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying on with us on BNSN Weekend.
Well, what a week it's been for the markets. We were really targeting and gunning for that 9,000 mark, but it eluded us, and how by the end of the week we did see a sharp sell-off kick in, and we made peace with the 8860 mark, and it was up by just about 0.6%. Perhaps had it not been for IT, which saw tremendous pressure during the week, we may have even scaled that level. But of course, pressures from overseas, etc., definitely attributed to it. But IT was definitely a sore point. Let's get in a call then, Amar, as to what exactly is going to be the crucial level that you're going to look out for on the index. Do you think that we're likely to consolidate, or we are going to see some sort of a decisive breakout on the charts?
Yeah, looking at the way the markets closed today, it was a real, I would say, a sharp selling that came in. And as far as Nifty is concerned, because on the downside, the major level of support, because overall, yes, definitely the overall trend is up, so any dip should be used as a buying opportunity. But on the higher side, we are seeing profit booking also coming into. But the best part is that the FII buying continues to remain as is, so that's one positive factor. And also overall among the markets, emerging markets, we are best placed. As far as technically speaking, the major level on the downside would be 8720, 8730. Earlier that was the key resistance level. Once that level was taken out, we witnessed a sharp rally of almost 250 points or so. So somewhere or the other, this 872030 would be a level, major level of support that the market needs to watch out for.
Okay, those are some key levels that you must watch out for the Nifty then and for the markets in general. But let's then shift focus to some individual ideas then. And Mr. Prabhakar, first to you, for someone who may have a more of a long-term time horizon, what are some wealth creation ideas you'd recommend?
I like two stocks. One is Deepak Fertilizer. Now, after 2 years of very bad monsoon, this monsoon has panned out very good. So, and fertilizer companies are likely to do very good. And Deepak Fertilizer is one stock which is already outperformed, but this outperformance is likely to continue. So, I have a target of 295, and this is one stock where I think in next 1 year our targets could come. The second idea is LIC Housing Finance. We have a target of 700 rupees, and the margin expansion is one more thing. And now all housing finance companies have started to raise low cost funding like NCDs. So I think that is going to be one major trigger for LIC Housing Finance. And with smart city schemes also doing very good, I think housing finance companies will see a big re-rating, and there is a lot of margin of safety in these stocks. And with market running up so much, so the stock also should be safer, and it has, should also have a long-term prospect. So LIC Housing and Deepak Fertilizer are two stocks from my stable.
There you have it. Those are some fundamental recommendations coming in from AK Prabhakar. Meantime, let's also get in a call then, Amar, as to what is it that you're looking out for on the technical charts. Which stocks look good?
Yeah, the first one is FDC. We've seen a significant rally from almost 185 levels to 228 levels in 5-day trading session. So it's up by almost 25%. So any pullback towards 221, 223 levels can be a buying opportunity in FDC with a stop loss of 213, targeting 248, 249 levels on the upside. So that's the first stock. The next stock is ONGC. ONGC, we've seen the overall we've seen the markets sell off today, but ONGC has stood out. It's up by almost 6.5–7% this week after taking out a key resistance level of 244 levels. So it's trading higher. So any pullback towards 250–51 can be a level to buy ONGC with a stop loss of 244 and a target of 265 from a short-term perspective.
All right, those are some recommendations coming in, FDC as well as ONGC. With that, we'd like to thank both of our experts for joining in on the show, Mr. Prabhakar as well as Amar. Thanks so much for joining in. And thank you viewers for tuning in to BNSN, the Weekend Edition. We'll wrap it up right here, and thanks for watching. Have a lovely weekend.